Hello, everybody. How you doing? My name is Leonie
I'm Crystal-Dior, and welcome to
to Giggles and
Giggles,
Goals.
Giggles and Goals, Giggles and Goals. Welcome to Giggles and Goals. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You
Okay,
know
we're done.
what? Okay, so what's going to happen when we are able to do in-person things? It should be like a skate disco thing because our lights and all that,
You know what?
it gives
You're
that
right.
skate disco vibe. And you are a skater.
I am a skater. I mean, I'm working on it. I'm not pro. I'm
Right.
not Usher. I can't join the tour, but I can do a little thing. So yes.
Yes.
Okay, so y'all, when we do our first event meetup, it's gonna be at the skate rink.
Okay, well, I don't know if it should be at the skate rink, but it could be
Yeah.
skate themed,
Well, we gotta skate. Okay,
skate
we'll
disco
get
theme.
we'll work out the details, but
Yeah.
until then, we're so glad that you're here again with us
Yes.
again,
Yes.
and we're so excited for this episode per usual, because 'cause we're gonna do our quarter end review,
Quarter
Q1.
Q1 in review. So, if you don't know, we're all about reaching our goals on this channel, on this podcast. And so, the way you reach goals is not just to talk about them, but you also have to track them. And then you got to, pivot and, all the things. So, we like to tackle our goals with a lot of laughter. So, we're going to be giggling a lot per usual.
Per
But
you.
ultimately, it's about, like I said, getting after our goals and making sure we achieve them.
Absolutely. Let's start with our one-liners per
Yes.
usual. I think that's our word for the day, per usual.
Been doing this for a little bit now. It's been a year
Yes.
now.
Listen.
We set a goal last year to start a podcast. It was like 2023. In 2023, start a podcast. We have officially hit a whole year of being committed
I'm
and
so excited
consistent
about it.
with it. And so kudos to us. Clap for you.
Yes. Go ahead, let's give us
Okay.
your one-liner. Ooh, snap, snap, snap. Okay, mine is Q1 was an appetizer. Now I'm preparing for the main course. Y'all get ready, get ready, get ready.
Scrumptious.
Yes.
Yes.
So also, let's jump to our Who Said That. I'm
It's your
excited about this
turn.
one. It's my week. So the
Okay.
quote is, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it." That's the quote.
Okay.
It is a man.
Not we don't normally have mans on this channel
It's a
during this
man.
one.
It's a man.
Okay.
It's a man.
Okay.
And it's a black man.
Okay.
He is, I would say, a legend. He is, I
Mm,
don't know. I mean, there's sure that, I wish there was a heavier word for it. I'm just not thinking of it, but he's a big deal. He's a part of our history, part
mm.
of Black history.
You talking about Obama?
No,
Oh, and
I mean, I would say he was a pivotal part of the civil rights movement.
Martin Luther King?
No,
Then civil rights. There's a lot of people, so we need to get okay. What faction was he in? What group then?
around the same time.
Oh my God, Malcolm X.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
X. Malcolm X.
Yes, my brother.
The future belongs to those who prepare for it. So
Oh, I love that. And he like listen. The people don't be quoting him as much as they need to be.
they don't. And I mean, he did things differently than a lot of people probably would have.
Would have wanted.
He did what needed to be done, and just as important as Martin Luther King was to our progression, so was he. I think they both were important for different reasons. We needed both. We needed both energies. We needed both revolutionary moves. We needed both of them. So yeah.
Correct. Absolutely. Because you can't have one without the other. And then, but you have one who is an enforcer. You have one who is more of like a community member. Let's do this together. Let's a diplomat, I would
Yes.
say. So, I think when you approach your goals, there are seasons where you have to apply either tactic.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the civil rights movement to have both of them at the same time, I believe that helped us get movement faster because we still see issues today that need to be addressed, but you don't have either one of those strong figureheads, the diplomat or the enforcer that is like the prominent person.
Yeah.
I mean, we have sprinkles here and there, but to have a one agenda like they had, we don't have that right now. And so you can
Yeah.
see how far having those two positions fulfilled how far it can get you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like if you're interrogated there's a good cop and a bad cop, right? But they have the same
Mhm.
objective, and that's
Yeah,
effective. It's known for being effective. Even with
right.
parents, there's usually the good
Yeah.
parent, the bad parent, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Because it's known for being effective when you're trying to change the behavior of whoever you're dealing with. So they didn't maybe realize that that's what they were doing, but they were literally good cop, bad cop, and their objective
Mm.
was to progress our people. So that was clear, but the way they came about it was different, and we needed good cop and bad cop. So
Mhm, mhm.
yes, he gets his kudos today here.
Yes.
He's gonna get those kudos. But I mean, him that quote led us to our topic of the day because we're talking about what's going on in our nation and our globe, as well as what's going on with us, what's going on with pop culture. We're gonna give updates on everything important to
Yes.
everyone and how it went the last 3 months or the
Right.
previous 3 months of the year. So let's
Mhm.
start with national global updates. Let's start with fun stuff.
Yes.
AI. I
AI
love
is
AI.
always fun. AI is so much is happening with it so quickly. It's like so it's always just a bag of goodies with the updates.
I love it. I mean, I wouldn't say that I don't branch out on all the crazy AIs. Like I'm a ChatGPT girly, so
Uh-huh.
I know everything that they're doing at all times. And I used Perplexity recently
Mhm.
because you mentioned it to me. And I
Mhm.
use Gemini, but really my everyday all the time is ChatGPT. So I'm obsessed with their new updates. There's a AI that I haven't explored, but I know you and your husband have. DeepSeek is a
Mhm.
Chinese AI, and apparently they have more downloads in the Apple Store than ChatGPT. They're the top rated
Oh, hell yeah.
AI right now over ChatGPT. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on, ChatGPT? So now I need to go download DeepSeek. I need to know what the hype
So,
is.
okay, so I remember in the very, very first episode we did not we had technical difficulties, so we didn't ended up not putting it out. But I in that episode I said that with DeepSeek, they release oh, how did I say it? I said ChatGPT and DeepSeek, they're like the Drake and Kendrick feud.
Mm,
And with ChatGPT thought they were gonna come out and like charge people and have this plan and everything was gonna work out fine, but then DeepSeek dropped Euphoria on them, which was essentially they were able to give out for free a more in-depth AI model, which in comparison, ChatGPT was more on like just more of a like a novice reasoning level, the grade level maybe was I can't give grade level, but it was definitely below the college level that DeepSeek came out with a few months ago, and they are now at like a high level academic level of reasoning. So when you ask it questions, it gives you way more in depth. It's like you're talking to a
mhm.
college professor, and so sometimes it's a little far, and you're like, "Okay, reel it back in. These words are too big," and it's like like it's too deep. And then ChatGPT is more shallow. So
Okay.
that's why I say like ChatGPT is Drake and DeepSeek is Kendrick.
I
so
love it.
so that's where we're at. And then it was a whole frenzy because, people the AI, ChatGPT, all those models were starting to like get devalued because DeepSeek is over here like giving you a better product for free and it's open source at that. So it's like anybody could take it and make something with it. And then they dropped their image model and it blew everything out the water. And then I'm like, okay, so now they're not like us.
Mm,
So we'll see.
okay.
So we'll see. So then now ChatGPT has come out with their 4.0 model, which
Yes.
their images are
I played with
so
it.
it's like
It's
it's
cool.
uncanny
It's
how
cool.
like so Robert was telling me he was like reading this article and he was like this they are talking about how they built this app and then you have these two people in front of a whiteboard that has all the information about how they built this app or whatever and you're supposed to, and it's like a distraction because you're looking at the whiteboard like this is how they built this model to do this excellent thing, but you don't realize at first that you're looking at the people that are in front of the whiteboard are AI generated. And it looks like you're taking a picture of somebody in a conference room. It's very, 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 very realistic. And before it was like, you could see, and this is in the AI videos where you see people's hands are all messed up and their faces are contorted. It's like it's not giving real, you know what I'm saying? But So that's where we are with the 4.0 model. Now I think DeepSeek is going their Super Bowl performance is going to be having that image level that GPT 4.0 has. They're going to bring that with video, I think, next. That they have
Listen,
to one it up, they got to do that.
I played around with the 4.0 for the photos yesterday. Super
Mhm.
cool. 'Cause I was thinking about, like, maybe we could do our, promo
We
images with it, but you
should.
can't put it they still won't accept pictures. Like, they still won't
Okay.
feel
It
like,
has
well,
to be it has to start from scratch.
it has to be a fake person,
Mhm.
essentially.
Mhm.
But anyway, it's really cool. But it makes me think about, is Jamie Foxx, because
And listen.
remember?
I was like, "Oh, that's a clone. That's not the real Jamie Foxx."
It's not.
Did you see his special?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, so he was like, "Could a clone do this?" And he was like doing all types he was like going through all his movies and whatnot. I'm like, I don't think that was a clone. First of all, I don't think they can make a clone good enough to catch the spirit like he did. Cause they still over here. They haven't even got video right. You gonna do a whole
Listen,
Westworld person?
when he started talking about he was done with white women, I'm like, "Oh, this is fake. This is deep sink." Okay, because we know good and well.
But then at the end, that I laughed. First of all, I haven't laughed that hard at a TV thing in so long. I was dying. He's like, no more white women.
That's when I knew it was fake. I'm like,
And then
"Okay, AI."
and then he was like in public. I'm like, okay, this is real. Hilarious. Jamie Foxx is the most talented person walking the earth. It's so amazing how talented he is.
Nah, he's funny. He does crack me up.
I mean, effortlessly funny. It's so
Mhm.
crazy. It's
Like, you can
hilarious.
tell he's a comedian who's actually funny. You know how some of
Mhm.
him act funny?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
he's probably, like, every day making everyone around him laugh, like,
Right. It's like he's the type of person where he tries to be serious and you still crack up at him. And he's like, I'm serious, damn it.
yeah.
Like I was watching Kevin Hart. He did do you watch Hot Ones? Have you ever seen that show?
Mhm.
Okay, he was doing the 10-year anniversary because his was like really popular. And he was like, listen, if I run out of here, I'm not joking. If I gotta go to the bathroom. He's like, you probably but comedians probably have to make disclaimers all the time. Like, I'm not playing. I'm not being funny at this moment.
I am serious. I love it. But, let's shift a little bit,
Yes.
to okay, so that was a quarter update
Mhm.
for tech,
Mhm.
and I guess Jamie Foxx. Um,
Right, you know, we always sprinkle some pop culture up in here because that's
yeah,
just, that's life.
it's
What is
life.
life without a little pop culture?
Right? When I was
Mhm.
doing research on what's going on in the entrepreneurial world and the business world for Black women and just
Mhm.
women in general,
Okay.
I found some information.
And this is on par because it is still Women's History Month at the time
It
of this
is.
recording. So this is
Yes.
great.
So let's talk about it. I can do
Okay.
the first one. Woman, let's just change the wording. Female entrepreneurs are
Uh-huh.
making significant strides in the business world. From 2022, I'm sorry, 2023 to 2024, women-owned businesses experienced a 41 year-over-year growth rate, 41%
Sad.
year-over-year growth rate.
That's
So we
amazing.
are growing, like, not
Mhm.
just kind of growing, 41%.
Yes.
So you want to take the
Mhm.
second one?
Yes, women now hold 10.4% of CEO positions in the Fortune 500 companies,
Get it,
showing
sis?
progress in leadership roles. So that is great. We still have a long way to go, but 10% is we're on the board.
I love it.
Yes,
And our last little bit of economic data on our industry or our demographic, female co-founded companies in the US raised a record of 64.4 billion in venture capital funding in 2021.
that's
Those are
great.
the current data, and I love that for us.
That is great, especially since like 2020, there has been a lot more initiatives for, marginalized groups to get more shine. So
Mhm.
I know that we've had a couple of setbacks in places. I mean, while we're here, we could talk about some of the DEI rollbacks. I don't want to get
Yeah,
too far into it, but that was a big thing that happened. So it's like
100%.
hopefully I mean DEI, people like to think of DEI as like Black or people of color, but
No,
that includes
women.
everybody. Yes, it includes women, it includes people with disabilities, it includes a
Yes.
lot of people in that group. So I hope that with the rollback of DEI that these numbers will continue to progress and they will not regress. But go ahead.
I mean, speaking of the DEI rollback, I don't know if you follow Jamal Bryant at all.
I don't follow him regularly, but I did see his Breakfast Club interview.
So I watch him randomly, not always by choice, but I do watch him sometimes. And one of his sermons around the DEI and Target rolling back their DEI program. Now I'm a Target girly, okay?
Right,
Everyone
right.
knows me and Target, we're besties. We roll deep. Me and
Mhm.
Target to the end until Target tried to end the
Right.
DEI program. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Target. So they rolled back their inclusiveness of smaller brands from people of color and women and just DEI. And Jamal said he wanted our
The
people
boy
to boycott. And we did. And they lost over $1 billion in revenue.
That's
Over the
official.
last quarter, they
Mhm.
lost over $1 billion in revenue from us.
Mhm.
Mainly black people saying we're not gonna mess with you if you're not messing with us.
Right.
So yeah, our money speaks. We might not be the largest in numbers when it comes to population, but we are huge in influence and we spend money.
Right.
We spend money. So
Too much of it. So we hold it in our pocket and give it to each other.
yeah.
But so yeah, that is I'm glad you gave an update on that because going back to that MLK and Malcolm X conversation, when he came onto the Breakfast Club, because a lot of people were like, they're boycotting, what is that gonna do? XYZ. But he came with a very clear plan that I was able to get on board with because it's one thing to say we're just not gonna do this. But when you have something organized that has metrics, we talk about a
Mhm.
plan, we talk about tracking, we talk about because then you can speak to what the actual achievement is. And so when he came with that, I was like, okay, I'm on 45 days. It's a fast. I'm on board with that. He called specifically to the church because I think that was smart to do because I think it's easier to galvanize the church because we're already preset to be on one accord and when it comes to certain things I think that's why both MLK and Malcolm X's movements were so effective because they're both spawned from religious groups.
Mhm.
And so, and Black people are historically extremely religious. So, with coming at it from from that point of view and from that perspective, from that using that tactic, I think was very smart. And admittedly, I hadn't shopped at Target in a while because I had moved to a place where the Target nearby wasn't the best. So, and I've always been an avid Target person, and I was like a little, you know, irritated as well because we Black people so on social media have put you on all these memes about why we go to Target instead of Walmart, and I'm not about to be a Walmart girly. I'm gonna be a Target girly.
Absolutely.
How you could see a Black woman always put something on from, oh girl, I got this from Target. Da, 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 da.
Right.
It's like we build brands and we accelerate brands, and
Absolutely.
so it would be and we chose Target to accelerate. And if we choose not to, then we can do that. And
Yeah.
you may not close down, but you will feel that. And so maybe when you're in those boardrooms, you'll think twice about pissing us off.
And then the fact that they so quickly dropped us.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many brands who was like, "No," like Apple. Apple's like, "No, we're not rolling back our DEI movement." Even Disney. Disney's shareholders voted on whether or not to roll back the DEI initiatives, and I think it was, like, more than 90% of their shareholders were like, "No, leave it the way it is. Do not touch the
Mhm.
diversity, equity, and inclusion program." So these are big brands. So you didn't have to jump
Right,
on
you're just
the
gonna
bandwagon.
jump right out and be like, "We're not doing it." It's like you could have just shut up.
So that's how I know that like, where their heart was. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, they
Mhm.
never really wanted to include us, but they felt like at the time it was better marketing to include us because of what was going on
Mhm.
after the pandemic and all the striking. "Oh, we need to get on the Black people's side." So it was all forced upon them. So as soon as they didn't have to do it, they're like, "Oh, let's get out of this." Like,
Well,
I'm not cool with it.
I don't know if I can't say that I felt like it was forced on them after 2020 because I feel like Black people have been putting Target on from for years
But
before
were they
that.
giving us credit for it? Were they acknowledging our power?
I
That's what I'm
think that they
saying.
were putting businesses in Target before the whole protesting. But I think that there was a whole movement across corporate America to make it to make it super visible. I remember going into Target and being able to get Black hair care products. But what after the protest, it was like, okay, now you see for Black History Month, there's like a whole section in the front of books and products and stuff like that. Like there was an extra push. I'm not going to say there wasn't a push, but I feel like I would see representation there before. It was amplified afterwards. But then to say, be like, just rip it. I think it was I thought that whatever their DEI initiative was, it was one that seemed to be effective, at least in the store. How it was on the corporate level was, I don't know, because that was the biggest complaint, or the biggest, I guess, what's the word? I guess point that people were bringing up during those protests is like, don't just put us in the forefront, put us in the boardroom where we can make decisions. And so there were supposed to be more executive level opportunities offered to people of color and marginalized groups. But I don't know how far that went. And I think maybe that is where they want the buck to stop, where it's like, we can put you on our shelves and we could put you on our, book covers or whatever, but we don't want you making decisions. And maybe that is where why they want to strike it.
I mean, that was a part of it. I mean, I know they dropped a lot of our brands too. Like I
Uh-huh.
follow some of those businesses that were in Target. They said no, they canceled our contracts, and they so it's a lot that went on there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And either way, I thought that their heart was to invest in our culture.
Right.
And I realized it was just I mean, they're a business. I'm not mad at them for it being about the dollar, because I know
Right.
there's some brands that stayed, like, what's her name with the seasoning?
Tabitha.
Tabitha, her
Mm-hmm.
brand is still there. There's a lot of brands that are still there because they
Right.
were performing well, they're high sales brands, but the ones that weren't
I
performing
mean,
as well.
Tabitha got more than seasoning. She got more than seasoning. She's got everything. Every aisle probably has something from
Right.
Tabitha.
So, I think her stuff is still there. So she was, like, telling us not to boycott. I'm like, "Sis, it's bigger than you." You know what I mean? But I do like that now we have data and we can show them, like, "Hey, making us happy is great, but then don't make us mad because it's not great," right? So, I mean, I'm proud of us for sticking to it, because many times we think our voice doesn't matter, we think our vote doesn't matter, we think our dollar doesn't matter, we think our voice in our posts and our social media doesn't matter, but it does. Most of the influencers in the industry right now are Black women.
Huh.
On most of the social media platforms, we are leading in influencing. We're leading in followers. We're leading in brands.
Really?
Yes,
I did not know that.
we are the leaders.
We need to do episode on that then, because I want to know the numbers for that.
Yeah, we're leading, and they just can't ignore that. Like, we're changing the culture. We're changing the face of marketing. We're changing the face of social media. Give us our credit and give us our put respect on our
On our
name.
name, okay?
Okay?
Now, and I will say this, so I don't know, DEI, I do feel like since we've gotten here, it's like we could do away with it. We don't need to try to research it, bring it, have a resurgence, because I also know that I would be in certain spaces and seeing who's on the DEI team, and there was barely or no people of color. So it's like, how can we have a diversity, equity, and inclusion if there's no diversity on this board making these decisions to inform the equity and inclusion part? So I'm of the mind of, like, do it within and build our own ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to that program, I cannot say if I haven't ever got an opportunity because of that. I don't know. But when they decided to remove it or whatever it was, I wasn't worried because, I
Right.
mean, as a Black woman in America, I've always been overqualified for every job that I've had, right?
Exactly.
Because you have to be. I had to be the best. I had to be the most studied up. I had to be the most professional. Always.
Uh,
I'm sure I wasn't the people who were mad about it, they probably didn't even realize they're eliminating their own jobs.
right, right.
Like,
I
there's a
mean,
population of people who don't even
listen.
realize DEI is them.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. People really just have no clue. And that's the plight of being a Black woman or Black person in this country, is that you are so informed most of the time, and then you make decisions on your conscious
Mhm.
mind, but so many people make a decision on their subconscious mind, not realizing consciously that they are harming themselves.
Yeah, like, the people who voted against it, I'm just like, "You guys, Black women are the most educated demographic of people."
Mhm.
So we are qualified for these jobs we're getting. Like,
Right.
this isn't a pity job for us. So those of
Exactly.
you who voted to get rid of this, most of you aren't qualified for the jobs. You probably should want this program to stay around.
You should,
But
but
nonetheless,
that's like people thinking food stamps is, like, just full of Black women. It's like, but you don't realize that there's more white families on food stamps than Black families? It just do the math. I mean
for us to be the smallest population, so many decisions are made around us, and it doesn't
yeah,
even impact us the way they think. It impacts you more than us. But nonetheless, we digress.
right.
It kind of that culture talk leads us to our next topic, our next quarter review topic,
Mhm.
which is culture. Let's jump into the
Let's get into
culture.
some culture catch up, pop culture catch up.
So I
Pop
didn't
culture catch
write
up.
this list that Leonie are looking at in order, so I'll try to put it in order for you.
Oh, it's okay.
Let's
We can
start
just
with
do
this.
whatever.
Let's start with the Super Bowl.
Oh,
That happened
right.
in
Mhm.
January, so that was in the first quarter of this year.
Yes. Mhm.
And Kendrick was amazing, and he was very political and very direct and very petty and very talented and artistic. He did all the things
Yes, I
in that
love
3.
having Samuel L. Jackson because I don't think there's ever been an actor on at the Super Bowl, like,
Yeah,
in narrating, so that was really new and fresh.
that 3 minutes was filled with goodness,
3
especially
minutes? It was
wasn't it?
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
3 minutes?
I thought it was 3 minutes. Where did I get
Girl,
that from?
I
Okay.
don't know.
12 minutes. That 12 minutes was amazing, and, he did a great job. I didn't know what he was gonna do. Like, I was like, "Is this gonna be?" Because I don't know him to be, like, a performer like that, like a
Okay.
dancer. He doesn't
Mhm.
but he gave
Did
us
you
a
see
show.
his Super Bowl halftime performance when he did, like, the whole LA tribute?
Not Super Bowl.
It was Super Bowl. It was He did an LA tribute when it was Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent,
Yeah.
Eminem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it
so he
wasn't just him. So I
no, but it's like he gave you a little taste.
yeah, but I didn't know he
Mhm.
could carry the whole show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's what I was like,
I don't think anybody thought a rapper could do that, but
mhm.
if I guess and especially because he doesn't have, like, a huge radio hit catalog. So, and he did it with all of he I mean, it was just sweet how he did it because he did it with an album that everybody was on pins and needles for because he had set up this whole story. You know what I'm saying? It was like watching his this Drake and Kendrick thing was like watching a Shakespearean
Yeah.
play out in front of our eyes.
And then we're all trying to figure out, is he gonna do the song? Is he gonna do the song? And,
Mhm, mhm.
and of course he did because he's petty. I wonder if he's born in June. 'Cause
He's a
we're
Gemini. What's a Gemini
oh,
birthday?
June, me, Gemini.
You're a
Yeah,
Gemini?
yeah. I knew it because you like, our petty it's hard to explain the joy that we get from little, like, things like that, but him doing that
Oh
song, I
my
was like,
god.
"Yes, that is, like, top-notch petty," and
That's
I
hilarious. It's like,
enjoyed it.
scrumptious.
Yes! Yeah, yeah, I could tell my June babies. I know us. I know us.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I
Okay.
didn't even know, but I knew.
Okay, you did know. Okay, so that performance was great. I think I hope that that is the pin in that situation. Drake is still on. There's still, I told you my little rapper, not rapper, but my like hip hop news people that I will listen to. There's always some type of headline about what Drake is doing. I'm like, okay,
Is he okay?
now we're just stretching the story out. I don't know. There's some DMs that came to light about some. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with it anymore because it's like I think people just grabbing for story, like
I
grasping
actually forgot about
for
him low
story.
key. Like, I only really think about him in connection to this.
Right, and I mean, he's only thinking about himself in connection to this because that's the only
Yeah,
news that's coming out on his side. He's either a lawsuit or some DMs in relation to something going on with this
yeah.
situation.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of Super Bowl performers, let's jump to Beyonce won her album of the year
For Cowboy
for
Carter,
Cowboy
yes,
Carter, and
yes.
she was in shock, which was you
Mhm,
never see her show, like, unexpected emotion
mhm.
like that.
I think it's a for her, I think it was because she came in, it seemed like she was late, first of all, to the Grammys, and then she seemed unsettled, and she had, like, a wardrobe malfunction, so yeah. What were you gonna say, though?
No, no, I think it was exciting to see her excitement for an award, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, and the way I would feel, like, if I put myself in her shoes, it's like, after there's so much hoopla about it, I'll be like, "Don't give it to me." At that point, it's like, I don't want your pity rewards or awards, but I mean, she
I
got it
I'm not
finally.
sure. I don't think it was a pity award. That was a good album. I enjoyed it. I think it was diverse. I mean, the thing about Beyonce is she has different groups of fans,
Mhm.
and it hit a different group of fans. So maybe those who liked Renaissance maybe didn't like it as much, but those who liked Cowboy Carter didn't like Renaissance. And then those
Mhm.
who liked this one probably didn't like the one, because she knows how to give every demographic of her fan base a album and
Yeah.
do it well. I
Mhm.
personally, Renaissance wasn't my favorite album.
Mhm.
There's like maybe 2 or 3 songs in it that I liked, but it wasn't a album that I'm like, "Ooh." It
Mhm.
wasn't. It wasn't for me. I liked some of her other ones more, right? Because she knows how to.
Mhm.
So I think Cowboy Carter was a good, like, it was
It was
good.
a great album. It was a I think it was a good album. I liked and I think some of the songs on there were really great. I think the best part about I think the reason why I call it like a petty award is because Jay-Z had went on the year prior and was like, "What are y'all doing?" Everybody so far, like Adele has got on there and said, "What are you doing?" So many people have said, "What is your problem?" So it's like how I it takes the air out of it, at least for me. She probably doesn't feel that way. That she probably feels great about it because it's a sweet revenge thing type of like there's some country people who probably were not rooting for her, who didn't care for her, and she got
Yeah.
it over them. It was a smack in the face to the Country Music Awards because that she's got the biggest music award for her country album now, and it's in history.
Mhm.
So, and I think she's a type like LeBron. She likes to break records. She's a
Yeah.
record breaker. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's pity or not, or the reason behind it or not, she has earned it.
Mhm.
Whether it's for this album or any other albums, like,
Right.
no one can say she didn't earn
Yeah.
every award, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think it comes with, for me, like how what's her name?
Taylor Swift
No, no, no. I'm thinking of Denzel and Halle Berry, how they won Oscars for roles that I
weren't their
think the Black
best.
community wasn't their best roles.
Mhm.
Like Halle Berry should have got it for Dorothy Dandridge,
Right.
and Denzel Washington should have got it for several other movies, like
Yes.
several other movies before that. Angela Bassett, she's probably gonna get it for something that is like, well, it should
Random.
for Wakanda, exactly. So it's like give it to the people who does for the thing that we say they need to get it for.
Yeah.
Like when what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio is another option. Is another example. He got it for Revenant, which I've never seen, but he's done so many other roles where he should have got an Oscar.
Mhm.
So it's just, for me personally, it gets on my nerves when you
Mm.
don't give it to people for something they should have got it for already, and then you give it to make it for something else.
No, I get it. I mean, it's frustrating, but, I mean, I'm happy at least that's checked off,
Uh-huh.
and maybe she can, relax
It
a
ain't
bit.
checked out. No, it ain't checked off yet because she needs several more. Taylor Swift has like 4 or 5 albums of the year.
Oh, she
Okay.
does? She has 4
Ye
I didn't know she had that many.
She has a lot, yes.
Well,
We
um,
still got work to do.
yeah, but that debate makes me have you been following the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni?
I don't seek it, but when I hear about it, I listen.
Okay, I know all the things,
Okay,
all
okay,
the things,
okay.
and that happened last quarter.
Okay.
So, the movie, It Ends With Us, is a
Mhm.
very good movie, and I hate
Oh,
that this drama kind of, like, took the attention away from the quality of the movie. Uh,
dang. And
the
she's a
dom
great actress. I really like
Yeah,
her.
and so is
Mhm.
he. It's about domestic abuse, but it's not, it's
Mm.
subtle, and it comes from a different lens, and it gives empathy to the situation, but seriousness to the situation, and it
Interesting.
humanizes those who are in these abusive relationships. 'Cause I think sometimes when people aren't in them,
Mm.
they have this thought of like, "Why does she stay?" And
Yeah,
then this movie explains it in a way that anyone can get like, "Oh, I get it."
that's amazing.
And so it's very well done. And for me to be a therapist who's worked with people who have experienced domestic violence, this is the movie I would say, "Go watch this movie."
Mm.
Because
Okay.
it's so it pisses me off after I saw it. I'm like, "Yeah, y'all ruined the press tour and all this with your drama." Like, the movie
Yeah.
shoulda got. So anyway, the drama behind it, and during the press tour, which I thought was weird too, Blake Lively was on the press tour pretty much by herself. There's 2
Mhm.
stars of the movie, it's her and Justin Baldoni. They're the
Mhm.
stars, okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
She was pretty much on the tour by herself, or she would interview with, like, the co-stars, not the star.
Right.
Never saw them together in the press tour. Weird.
Yeah.
And then she had this weird energy in her interviews, like, she was like, "Yeah, get your friend, wear floral, get your wine." Like, not talking about the seriousness of the movie, so I didn't even
Right.
know
Like
the
she was being
movie
sarcastic about it.
and lighthearted. So I didn't even know the movie was about domestic violence until I saw it. And I was like,
Right,
"Oh,"
right.
because
Yeah.
her energy of the press tour was very fluff, weird,
Mhm,
weird.
mhm,
So
mhm.
she got a lot of crap about that, about her just being non-serious during this press tour, and it was such a serious movie.
Right, I remember that.
So her PR team wanted to fix that because she doesn't like being bad, bad
Yeah.
press. So they made it about, well, she was uncomfortable during the press tour because Justin Baldoni, who was also the producer of the movie, was sexually harassing her on set.
Mm,
So she starts saying that and she
mm.
drops things about that. So then his team is like, oh, we're dropping receipts. That's
I
not what
saw
happened.
that clip of them where she was like, he caressed her hair or her neck or kissed her neck or something like that, and
All of it lies, lies. So he
well, I
drops,
saw that video, I'm like, I could see how and from her perspective, she may have received it in a way that he wasn't trying to give.
it wasn't a thing. Like when you see the full video, you
Mhm.
realize they zoomed this in to make this look a type of way.
Mm,
He dropped the full receipt. She dropped edited receipts.
mm,
And even her receipts that were dropped, her husband was behind it. So
mm.
Ryan Reynolds, halfway through filming, everything was going fine on set. Her and Justin were besties. He's like, no problems.
Mm,
Around the time that they were filming this movie, Ryan Reynolds was filming Deadpool out of the country.
mm.
Okay.
Okay.
She was by herself filming this movie in New York.
Mm.
Ryan Reynolds comes back because of the strike.
Yeah.
So filming stopped everywhere.
Yeah.
Then he starts to watch the cuts and
Yeah.
he's noticing a chemistry between her and Justin Baldoni. So he starts showing up on set and he's like, oh, what's going on here?
Mm.
Why did Justin come by the house? Why was this happening? So then I think, well, not just me, but even the receipts, that she was like, oh, no, it wasn't me. He was suggesting that. But her and Justin it was mutual. Whatever they had going, it was mutual. I don't know if it was a full affair, but there was a chemistry and it was mutual. But when her husband came back, she was like, no. And I think she just said something to defend herself in the moment. Her husband's like, oh, well, then if he's doing that, then we're going to sue him. And we're going to do that. And she's like, so that's what happened. She got called out.
Wait a second, but this a lot of there's a lot of inferences here that I haven't heard about.
It's
Where
not,
are you getting these like
there,
all her reactions?
you have to like, okay, I'm not a fan of Candace Owens, but she did a whole series
Breakdown.
of like the court documents, the receipts, the text messages, the everything, and everything points to Ryan. If you even see some of Ryan Reynolds' behavior,
Mhm.
weirdo stuff. In Deadpool, he added scenes making fun of Justin Baldoni.
He
Why?
did?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He
I mean,
also
I didn't catch it, but I did
he
watch the thing.
also
First of all, I
joined.
didn't know who that man was, so I wouldn't have
Yeah.
known.
He
So sorry
also
to that man.
Yeah, I mean he's not an A-lister. He also
Mm,
Ryan Reynolds in his pettiness joined their press tour for It Ends With Us. He
okay.
was doing interviews with the co-stars, making fun of Justin Baldoni. It was weird. Like you're not even in this movie.
Wow.
Weirdo stuff. Like I have
Okay.
to send you some of the clips. It's weirdo stuff.
Right, you gotta send me what you're talking about because 'cause I'm like, I only saw that one video. I didn't know
No,
I don't know
it's
none of the rest of this stuff.
all
They've been keeping
Q1.
this under wraps, then nobody's really been talking about it.
Well, it's just not on your algorithm because it's
Oh,
been.
right, it's none of my algorithm.
I'm like, it's been all over, girl.
I get Drake and Kendrick and the Breakfast Club
No,
stuff.
Candace Owens did a whole series on it. Like it's been all over,
Hilarious,
and so they're
yes.
suing. And now that they're in court, Blake's team is trying to like remove access from the public to any of the.
Mm.
Because she doesn't want us to know because it's all lies. She even threw Taylor Swift in there, and Taylor Swift is like, I don't know if you saw this, but Taylor Swift recently said that she is stepping back from her friendship with Blake
No way.
because it's all coming out that Blake's been lying about all her allegations towards Justin Baldoni. And she was using Taylor Swift's name for clout.
I don't like this. I
So
why Blake, I don't want you to go out like a sucker like this. You had a
yeah,
great reputation.
yeah.
I don't want this to ruin her reputation
But I
because
heard
once you
this,
put that on somebody and it ain't true,
yeah.
boo boo
But I
boo.
think it's all around because her and her husband met while they were both with other people on the set of a movie. That's how her and
Oh, they Brad Pitted that? Brad Pitt and Angelina did that? Did they really? Wait, so
she
they
was
were
she was dating her co-star from Gossip Girl,
okay.
and he was with Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
when
And
they did a movie together and they fell in
what
love.
movie did they do
I
together?
don't remember the name of it, but
Okay.
that they met on set. So he was already hyper vigilant.
Mm.
Actually all of her relationships she has met on set. She's never dated anyone that she didn't meet on set. So that's her thing. So
Mhm.
when he comes back from filming and she's besties with her co-star, he's like,
Right, you get like a yeah, okay.
"Deja vu. This looks familiar, sis."
Oh, I don't want this. They're so cute. I don't want this to be a problem. Go to therapy, get over with, apologize, and then you're a billionaire, so make your own movies, okay? And that's how you recover.
Well, that's yeah. So
Well,
it's
yeah,
just crazy.
listen to our pivot episode and start making some smart goals with SWOT analysis.
Right, because what's going on? But let's move to Jess and The Breakfast Club.
Okay,
We
okay,
talked about
okay.
it on our live,
Yes, we're
but
talking. Go
we
ahead.
didn't you all on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and everywhere else that we stream this did not hear about this tea. So do you wanna take it
Correct.
over?
Okay, so what happened was, um, Jess Hilarious, Lauren LaRosa, Jess Hilarious, she was hired to replace Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club. Okay, she gets there, immediately shows up pregnant. So
Quick. How quick?
I think she was pregnant the day she started because she was already like she had been there for a little bit and then her energy was super not the same. And then they give an announcement shortly after she, made it past her safe zone after her 12-week, 14-week mark, whatever. Then it's like, okay, Jess is pregnant. But it was like that was like back to back. It was at the basically the same time. So then she goes through her time of her pregnancy. Then she goes on maternity leave. She picks Lauren LaRosa to fill in for her. Lauren is a producer of the show. She's worked for TMZ before. She's a journalist. She has experience. While Jess had come in to replace Angela Yee, because it took a while for them to find somebody and they chose Jess. And she came on and people weren't too happy about her reading, me included. It didn't flow. It just wasn't natural. It was hard to get through.
Wait,
Okay.
pause.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know this, for those of you who might not also know this, when she's saying reading, she's not meaning like, "I'm
Yes.
gonna read you, girl." She's meaning like actual literal read.
Literally reading words on paper. It was hard to hear her deliver the stories because there was no nuance. There was no inflection. It was just like reading like this and this happened. So yeah,
Wait, pause. Do we think she has a problem reading?
I don't know. I don't think she has a problem reading. I think you have to be a reader to be good at reading out loud. And I don't
Mm,
know if Jess is a reader, an avid reader.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could read. She's not like illiterate.
Illiterate.
She's
Okay.
not illiterate, but you have to be to do what Lauren does, it has to be your thing. It has to be a skill set. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So reading your head and reading out loud and delivering a message in a way that people understand, where you have like where you get the story and
okay.
you get the emotion in it, that takes skill. So she didn't have that. But to her point, she said they didn't hire me to be a journalist. They hired me to do Just with the Mess, where I give the mess and I give my jokes. You know what I'm saying? So I come on here and they give me all this stuff to read, and like maybe she hadn't found a way to incorporate the story with her jokes yet, but people didn't really give her the time to do that. She
But
also
she needs to
didn't.
try, girl. This is a
She
job,
did. I'm
okay?
not. Pause. 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 She did try. She was getting better. You could tell that she was learning, and she was taking it seriously. She wasn't just being flippant about it.
Okay.
But when she talks about she didn't get hired to do the reporting, like she got the job, not Lauren, because Lauren, they were both interviewing, and so they would go switch in between them, and they chose Jess. You know what I'm saying? So Lauren LaRosa didn't just come out the complete blue. We had seen her on the show before when they were going back and forth and back and forth. I thought they were going to pick Lauren because I felt like she had experience in it, and they chose Jess because she is
Charlemagne's buddy?
Charlemagne's buddy, and she has more followers, and she's a huge on Instagram, and she has like a comedy shows. You know what I'm saying? She's a bigger star than Lauren, even though Lauren had the most experience in what Angelique was doing before. So I think that they were giving it to Jess so she could put her own thing on it. But I don't think Jess, given that she was pregnant and she was going on maternity leave, I don't think she had breathing room to make it her own thing, or at least she didn't.
So did she really pick Lauren as her replacement, or they kinda, like, voluntold her that Lauren was gonna be her?
I don't know those details. She said repeatedly that she chose her, and no one's refuted that, so Imma go with that.
Because I wouldn't have picked her, Imma be honest. If I know me and sis went and applied for the same exact job, and they picked me by the hair, by the thin of my teeth, they picked me over her, and now I just got in this role. I've only been
Mhm.
here a minute, and I'm about to leave, and people don't even like me like that as I'm leaving. I would not pick the girl who they almost picked to begin with.
I don't
Why would you? That's not even stuff. That's just I would not pick the girl who almost got my job the first time and give her a second time to get my job.
Well, I mean, I feel you on that, but then the rest of the story goes, Lauren got in that seat and she ate it up, let me tell
See?
you.
Because Lauren knew the assignment. Lauren was like, "Oh, they didn't pick me last time. Let me show them what they missed."
She understood the assignment, she wrote the assignment, she delivered the assignment, she graded the assignment, okay?
And then she taught it. Then
And
she
then
taught
she
it.
and then she taught the assignment and went on a whole tour.
My goodness.
Oh my goodness, but anyway, it's like I the her the it's so good when you see Lauren's story because that's when you have the and I said that in the live where it's like when preparation meets opportunity
Mhm,
and it does it
mhm,
so well and she's so good that you can't even be mad at her. It's you know what I'm
mhm.
saying? It's not like even if she did kind of squat in Jess's seat, like she became the whole situation gives me squatter vibes somebody let you in to do the Airbnb and you ain't leaving. You just
They gave
moved
you an
in
inch. They gave you an inch, and you took
and
a
you took
mile.
10 miles, okay? It's like cuz I am going to just infer in this whole situation that nobody's going to say nothing. They were just going to let it play out and then because Lauren realized oh ain't nobody's running anything. There's nobody in charge here. I'm going to do what I want. She was like no one's asking me to leave. I'm just going to sit here. I think that's how that played out. Until Jess was like, "Excuse me, why is somebody telling her to get out of my seat? Like, who is in charge here?" And so Jess was like, she had to go in and tell
Right on
and
IG Live.
air it all out because I think she was like, if I say that, bring it up to them behind the scenes. They're not going to take me seriously. They're not going to do nothing because nobody is in charge here. And no one said anything so far. No one's taken up for me. So, excuse me. So I got to do it myself. So I think that's where that left off, and so she put it all out there, and then Charlemagne and DJ Envy gaslit her and was like, "What are you talking about? I thought you wanted Lauren to be here." It's like well, you're not gonna play in her face. Like, first of all, she got hired for this role. Charlemagne, you're the executive producer. Whoever else is executive producing this thing, you guys need to be in the leadership role and say
Mhm.
something and do something. How am I? I'm not. If y'all haven't said for her to have she's gonna have a role or whatnot. What I'm gonna do, smack her upside the head and tell her to get up. Like she's like she tried to do that while telling her to shut up and get out my
Rude.
chair,
Really rude.
and tell her to get up my chair and stuff like that. She was trying to like give the vibes like, okay, you're not welcome here anymore. But nobody was doing anything about it.
This
So
all feels very elementary
well,
school.
that's what they said. They was ran it's ran like Fair East Side High. And they said, have you seen Lean on Me, right? I love that movie.
This is
So
not, uh, like, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like Lean on Me. This is a I don't know how much money they make, but I'm gonna say $1,000,000 brand, and
I mean multi-millions, yes, yes.
we're functioning like a lemonade stand on the corner. Like, come on.
Right, right. It's like, and I'm thinking, and I would hope that, your talent and your ability to like deliver jokes and be fun and stuff like that, that's coming from like a professional space. I'm not thinking that's just how y'all live in and
Just
that's how y'all
wild.
run in the business. It's like, that's really actually disappointing.
Just wild. That's what it sounds like, just
Yeah.
wildness going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shame, shame. Well, Jess checked Lauren. I don't know if any resolution has come.
Well, I think so. So Lauren has her own podcast called The Latest with Lauren. It's on the Black Effect iHeartRadio. It's like Charlemagne's branch of iHeartRadio podcasts.
Okay.
And so she is now doing The Latest with Lauren where it goes in depth with the stories that are delivered on the Breakfast Club.
Uh,
Jess is now, I think she's pivoting towards like Jess with the Mess, where people call in and get advice from her, but I'm just all going to come from a comedic perspective.
Remember, Steve Harvey used to do that in Cali?
Yes, yes,
What was it called?
those
Strawberry
strawberry
letter.
letters. Yeah. Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
So I think it's gonna be something like that. So, and I think that they should just make Lauren the fourth host, add some more segments. Also on the YouTube channel, they've been doing this kind of like office parody thing. So it gives like I want them to expand on that. I
Okay.
think this is an opportunity for Jess to get into her executive
Sketch.
producer bag.
Yeah.
Sketch like not I don't know about sketch comedy, but like the do like sitcom comedy, like make a YouTube sitcom about the work, like office workplace comedy, like The Office basically, but it's for the radio thing, which is what they're doing, but it's in snippets, but like make it longer. And then even then it's like you could see where Jess shines in her acting ability on that
Hmm.
compared to Lauren. So it's like you're able to see their strengths and weaknesses at the same
They're
time.
different.
They
They're
are.
they're
Mhm.
apples and oranges, but
Mhm.
I think what it comes down to is neither of them were given boundaries and parameters, and so they're both
Right.
just like, "Well, what
Just
do I do?"
running over it, and it's like and Lauren was like, "Imma get where I wanna be with if I gotta steamroll somebody or not." And she's like, "This is what ain't nobody told me, ain't nobody said nothing," you
I
know?
don't even think she was trying to steamroll. I think she was
Mhm.
just like, "Well, I'm different. I'm doing something different than just a mess, so I'm just gonna stay until they kick me out." So I guess it is like a squatter, but she also stepped up to the role when they need her,
Mhm.
and she shined, and there was no,
Right.
drop of the ball when Jess had to leave. So it's
And
like,
the people, the powers that be were like, "We're just gonna see what happens. We're just gonna see what happens." And Jess was like, "You're not about to push me out." She saw the writing on the wall. She's like,
mhm,
"If you're gonna get rid of me, I'm gonna let everybody know. You ain't about to
pretty much.
just push me into a closet."
Pretty much, pretty much. Well, that's the Breakfast Club tea. So
Yes.
we gave you some tea with your breakfast.
Exactly. So, if you wanna hear more, we go way more in detail about it, and, if you go to our Instagram, go to our Instagram, and then you'll see the live that
Yes.
we did on it. It was like a whole hour plus long of it, and we got into, like, it was fresh vibes and fresh, opinions because it had just happened.
It was hot tea.
Yes, hot tea. It's a little warm now.
Yeah. So we will close our culture quarter update with Diddy still in jail.
Lord, I don't and that we talked about Diddy like in every other episode last year because a lot about the business of Diddy now that all
Mm-mm.
this things are happening. But I don't know. We ain't no business to be talking about right now because
He's
he's
just still
still
there.
locked up. So we just gonna move right on
Yep. I mean,
past
his
that.
lawyer quit. His lawyer
Oh, do
quit.
you know why? Did they say why?
They don't have a direct reason why, but we just know he quit.
Okay.
And he's a lawyer who has worked with people way worse than Diddy, and he quit. So,
What's stuff that we know of, we think are way worse. We don't know everything that man has done.
true that in the streets. But let's move on to the most exciting part and the most exciting update. What's new from last quarter to now with us?
I forgot we were talking about quarterly planning. We was all up on
Yes.
that. So that was the pop culture in review quarter in review.
What happened last quarter in pop culture? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I had to remind myself because now let's get into again and another, like you said, what we're doing, what's new with us on our quarterly plans.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Okay, yes. So we have when we set our when I we talked about setting our 2025 goals.
Mm-hmm.
In our last episode, I said that my goal was for me and my husband to get to 75K
Mm-hmm.
in revenue by the end of the year minimum. And so one thing that I'm doing, I'm putting a goal. I put a goal is to be a better communicator. And because I need to be able to, for us to do better and make more money and put out the content and stuff like that, it's needing to communicate our services better, communicate our just like what we do and what our philosophies are, what our methodology is. And so I started practicing something called essence writing, where you take a subject, you take a topic, and you write out your thoughts on that in 100 words, 50 words, or 25 words. And so I think I'm talking about this too soon. I need to wait. I'm gonna save that for later. We'll talk about essence writing again. But what's new with me is updated goal is to be a better communicator. That goes along with me and my husband's goal for our consulting company. And then I have a shifted focus at the same time. So I didn't talk about this before because it wasn't an issue. But I took my daughter to gymnastics class. I don't did I tell you about that?
You took my baby to
Oh,
gymnastics.
girl. Let me tell you, I took this girl to gymnastics. And I thought it was gonna be like a little tumbling class. This was real gymnastics with 2-year-olds. She's only 20 months, so she's not full 2 yet. But these babies were like holding themselves up, lifting their legs up at the same time. They were swinging through like hoops at 2. And so I took her and I'm thinking that, okay, it's gonna be so cute. She had the cutest little leotard. I was gonna take videos. I was so excited. And I had all this whole vision in my mind of how I was gonna go. We get there and she's automatically like overstimulated. Like there's so many people, there's so much going on, there's so much to look at, so much to see. But all the other kids are like sitting down, doing the warm up, and she's like trying to roll around like not when being antsy. Then it was time to line up. Then there were all the kids lined up. She didn't know how to get in line. Then they all sat on a little dot. She didn't know how to sit on the dot. She wanted to get up squirming. Then she started rolling about, throwing tantrums, hollering. And then we're like, okay, now it's time to do these rotations. We get and start doing the rotations. She doesn't know how to do anything. Fine. It's just her first time. She's never had
The
to do
first day.
anything. She doesn't know how to follow directions. She doesn't listen. So it's like I'm thinking, she knows a lot though. She knows her numbers.
Mhm.
She can basically almost read when you put words in front of her. She knows a lot, colors, numbers. She can count sometimes. Like she could do a lot of things, but she doesn't have any life skills. And so
Yet.
yet she doesn't have any life skills yet, but I'm not, and I don't know if I'm equipped to give them to her right now and just with me and her.
Mm.
So after that experience, and all the kids and parents were looking at us like, "What is wrong with you?" Because she was hollering and throwing tantrums and
My
running all over the place.
baby.
I was like, "Oh my god." That was a really, really, really tough day for me. I did a
Sorry.
video about it. I'm gonna post it about, like, my first new mom breakdown where I'm like, I went to my bath once we got home and Robert got home and I was able to take a break, I went to my bathroom and I cried. I
Oh.
boo-hooed because I'm like, I've been on this journey to build my entrepreneurship journey, but what and which has been fine, but it's not growing at a pace that is going to catch up with the bills um
Development.
of her development investment. So I want to put her in school now. I want to put her in gymnastics and swimming and all these things. And so being able to, the money that I'm bringing in from the business is not going to cover all of those things yet.
Mhm.
So I'm now in the position of where I can go get a more stable income while I'm funding that and doing these other things for our consulting company. And Robert and we talked about it, and we'll see how we can manage, how we can still do our consulting plan, but we are shifting our focus from the one-on-one consulting to doing something more media focused like YouTube and things like that.
Yeah.
So it still goes along with our overall goal, but because we have this new goal that has risen to the top, our child and her
Mhm.
development, that is where now we're taking through the rest of this year focusing on those things. So that's what's new with me.
Well, one, I wanna tell you thank you for being vulnerable with all of us here.
Mhm.
That's not an easy decision I know for you to make.
Mhm.
Like, you've poured so much into your entrepreneurial journey, so I don't want you to feel not that you are, but I don't want you to feel discouraged. This
Mhm.
isn't a fail,
Yeah.
this is a pivot,
Mhm.
okay? And I'm also proud of you for making such a hard decision and putting Maverick first in this moment because these moments, they're a big deal to you, but they are a big deal to her. Even
Mhm.
though she might not know it, it's going to shape her future and who she becomes and
Yes.
how she experiences being made a priority and the standards that she will set when it comes to being made a priority, right? So this is temporary,
Yeah.
right? But
Mhm.
I'm proud of you, and, it's gonna work out. You're still gonna be a boss. You're still gonna
Yes.
shine. You're
Yes.
still gonna meet your revenue goals. You're just doing it in a different way.
Doing it in a different way, cause mama's gotta pay this tuition now, okay?
Yeah.
And if I and I'm a high I aim for high achievement. I'm an ambitious person. So it's natural for me to want to impart that on my child and give her
Mhm.
the best. I would feel like a bum if I'm over here investing only into myself and wasn't investing into my child. So I have
Yeah.
to sacrifice some things, or not even pivot, sacrifice and pivot in ways so that I'm not just watering myself, because
Yeah.
I need to water this gift and this this person that I've been given.
Yeah, and she's
Mhm.
amazing, okay? Like, I know the YouTube channel has not met my little baby niece, but I have been with her since the womb as
Very
well,
beginning. Exactly.
okay? Since week 3 of her being in the womb, okay?
Yes, yes.
And she's amazing, okay? She's an
Mhm.
amazing, little sweet, very smart. She's gonna be on this podcast one day because she's been she's gonna tell Lauren me. I already know,
Oh, yeah.
okay? Because Maverick has been eyeballing this podcast and these lights
Mhm,
and this mic
mhm, mhm. She's
since
like,
she
"Oh,
was, like,
I'm
4
made for
months
this."
4 months old. So, she just hasn't done, like, group activities yet. That's all. I mean,
Mhm,
sometimes when I'm putting a group activity, I'm like, "What?"
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
if we show up to Zumba right now, we're gonna be like, "What?" Imma throw a tantrum. I can't sit on the dot, okay? So, she will be okay, and I'm sorry that you
She
had
will
that
be okay.
experience because I'm sure it was, like, deflating, because 'cause you're
Oh my
seeing
god, I was so, like, I thought I was doing so well. I thought that and I know that she doesn't follow instructions because she hasn't ever had to. Like, she
Mhm.
has free play, free range chicken in our house. You know what I'm saying? So she's never had to have rules to that extent. It's like, "Okay, get down, don't touch that, don't break that," type of thing. But to be, like, structured,
Mhm.
she doesn't. And I try to practice Montessori, but I'm not, I don't really enforce it as to for her enough for her to use it every day. So
Mhm.
the school I want to put her in is a Montessori school, and they do a lot of very life skills things.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to do that consistently, because, as we know, in consulting and entrepreneurship, I haven't hit the point yet where my month to month is the same, and I need to have a very consistent month to month so that I could invest in her.
Yeah, and she also doesn't know those people. She's probably like, "Who is this telling me to sit on the dot?" You know? So,
Mhm.
my
It's like,
little
I don't
baby
know you.
my little baby niece gonna be okay.
She'll be all right.
But I'm excited about her joining school.
Mhm.
So my update, nothing, like, too exciting like that has happened, but with my new job, I realized that my life has to pivot as far as my use of time, which we talked about this before, but I literally made a schedule, a day by day, week by week schedule so that I can get everything that I need to get done in a week, because when I was just kind of free falling it in my mind, like, "Oh, I'm gonna make sure I get this done," things were getting dropped and the things that
Mhm.
were important to me weren't getting time. So I've literally scheduled, just like we talked about last episode, like, I even scheduled incidentals. Like, I have scheduled, like, I literally do a month out, but from the morning I wake up, I'm like, "Oh, it's prayer time. I'm gonna do prayer. I'm gonna go walk around the block. I'm going to study this long, study this subject, and study this subject, and edit the podcast." Like, I have scheduled out my day hour by hour because that's the only way that I remember to get everything done.
Mhm.
So I've been doing that. I scheduled in everything. Like, okay, I can call my family around this time. I can call my mom and check on her this time. If I'm doing date nights here for 3 hours, I got to come back and study. If I'm going to watch TV, I only can binge 2 hours, and here are my 2 hours. I've been literally scheduling everything out because it's the only way that I'm able to do all the things that I want to do. So that's a new change. Boundaries I've set. I'm making it okay not to be accessible to things that aren't my top priority right now. There's this video that I watched, doesn't matter where I saw it, but it was about how to prioritize, and it was about the different size rocks that we have. So we have one
Oh,
bowl.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very
You've seen
familiar
it?
with that. Mhm.
Okay, so we're the bowl and we have all these rocks, and you can throw all the rocks in there and you're not gonna have space for everything. But if you
Uh-huh.
strategically put the big rocks first and then fill in the little rocks, you have
Yeah,
more
the rocks
space.
and then the sand.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to
I think that's from
reprioritize.
Traction. There's a book called Traction that it
Okay.
is based on those type of principles.
So I'm trying to do that because I feel like before I was just everyone's rock and everybody was a big rock. Everyone's everything was a big
Uh-huh.
rock. And
Uh-huh.
then I'm like, well, I can't let this person down. So I'm and then my stuff was getting dropped.
Right.
So I've been reprioritizing and being okay with sometimes disappointing being okay with not being able to be there all the time for everything and that just being okay and just doing the best that I can, but prioritizing my big rock so I can be happy with my accomplishments by the end of this year. Like
Uh-huh.
I want to pass my exam. Like I want to become licensed. I need the revenue outside of I missed that part of my life. And so it's like I can't be everywhere. Like I
Uh-huh.
literally can't. So me making that okay has been great. So that's my new change. Budget wise, I have been cooking more and eating out less.
Oh, yes, that's also been over on this team cook at home.
To save some coin.
Mhm.
And outside of that, yeah, those are my little quarter changes for Q2 that I'm gonna try
Mhm.
to sustain. I've been waking up earlier. I'm not a morning person, so I'm not friendly, but I'm up. Um, I've been doing that. I've been trying to go to bed earlier
Mhm.
and not staying up all night and then being tired. So I've been doing that.
Mhm.
And yeah, so those are my updates.
That's awesome. Those are
Yeah.
good. So good things that we've taken from Q1
Mhm.
and some changes are happening. That's the whole point. When you do your I like to call them quarterly quest. One of my clients, he shared that with me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that. Cause I like the whole point is like gamify your goals and we could develop this more throughout the year. But think of it as a quarterly quest. But when you get to the end of the quarter, you have these things that, okay, this is what we set out to do. This is what we accomplished. This is what we didn't accomplish. Do we want to take what we didn't accomplish? Do we want to take it and roll it over to the next quarter, or do we want to scrap it? Because then we could put our energy towards something else or towards the things that we've been doing already. So at the end of the Q1 quest, you have realized that you have a lot of um refinement you need to do
Mhm.
with your day to day. So now you're just going to continue to do that and cut where you need to cut.
Yeah.
So instead of putting your sand and your pebbles first, you're learning to reprioritize. So you
Mhm.
put your rocks and then you put your pebbles and then you put your sand.
Yeah, absolutely. Which
Mhm.
leads us to our last update, which is more about now what? Now that we have this quarter update, we know what happened the first 3 months of the year. Now what? And so the little quote that a little saying that we're going to go with is what are we taking with us? What are we dropping? And what are we stepping up into the next quarter?
Okay. Mhm.
And so it's kind of like what we were just talking about. So one of the first things we want to do is sharpen the vision, which
Yeah.
both of us talked about, like revisiting our goals. Are they still aligned? Are they
Mhm.
still measurable and meaningful to us? And where can we upgrade? Where can we take something and provide clarity around it and sharpen it?
Mhm.
Myron Golden, he says, purpose driven profit is sustainable. So everything that we do needs to be purpose driven so that it could be sustainable. So that's one
Mhm.
tip.
Okay, so reset the mindset. For me, it's protecting your peace while still showing up fully. So, being in my example, I had to reset my mindset. So, I've been focused, I've been a full time entrepreneur for 6 years now. And
Mhm.
so, this is my first time actually like I've said several times, I'm just gonna go get a job. When clients are where it's a little quiet with clients or things aren't like roaring with business, I'm like, I think I'm gonna go get a job. But those have always been for maybe this isn't going to work reasons, but now it's like it is working, but it's not working at the pace I want it to work for my current circumstance.
Mhm.
So my mindset is now, I think, I feel like I've grown up in this way because before I would be like, it's all over, like all everything I work for has gone down the drain, da, da, da,
Mhm.
da, and I would like spiral. But now I'm like, I've actually gotten everything to a point where it makes sense for me to go this route now. And it makes sense for me to give up my time to get more income because then I have everything set up in a way where I could hire an assistant again because I haven't had assistants for a few months now, about 6 months now. But I can hire an assistant again and give them very clear directives. We're
Mhm.
not creating something anymore. What I've done this whole time over the past years is I've created something that I can now now disseminate, and I will be, it can still, it's in a point where it can make money without me giving my time. And so it makes sense for me to capitalize on the opportunity. So having the resetting my mindset and not thinking that something is a failure, like you said, or like try not to go into it with disappointment. There are my freedom that I have to just do whatever I want when I want. That
Mhm.
is the part where I'm like, womp womp. I'm not going to be able to do that, but I'm going to be able to invest in mine, and my family's future in a different way, and that's a positive thing coming from a place of abundance and not lack.
And also, like, when we think about entrepreneurship and the thought of I can do whatever I want, you're working so much, you don't even do whatever you want that often. You
Yeah,
know what I
right.
mean?
Mhm.
So, like,
Mhm.
sometimes having a 9 to 5 gives you a little bit more freedom than entrepreneurship,
Right.
to be honest.
Mhm.
Like, I know someone, he has a full-time clinic, a full-time practice, shout out Dr. G, and he it I mean, he's employing other people, so he
Mhm.
doesn't take the day off. Like, he can't say, "Oh, I'm taking a week off vacation," without it being a whole big
Without
thing because
there's an impact,
he's
yeah.
our right? So, while I could just tell my boss, "Hey, I'll be gone,"
Mhm. Mhm.
right? So,
Right, right.
although I don't necessarily think entrepreneurship has more freedom. I think it's more work and more
Well,
responsibility.
and that's the thing because I'll be able to cut it off. Like I do this job, I do my best, I get my money, and I'm out. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and so this quote by Brene Brown, the practice of grounded confidence, knowing your value without needing to prove it. This I
Mhm.
feel like is a perfect example of me doing that because I
Yeah.
could say, well, I've been an entrepreneur for 6 years and like people are going to think that my business isn't doing well
Mhm.
and da 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 da. It's like I don't have to prove to anyone that if my business is doing well or not. I know what I've done and I have grounded confidence in knowing that it is impactful. In fact, I have 3 meetings next week about the products that I've built. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But I'm not going to that those 3 meetings have not proven to pay my daughter's tuition yet, so I'm not banking on that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And until
Yeah.
that day comes, this is what I'm gonna do.
Even in my field, like, I meet with small, medium businesses all the time, and I met with a gentleman this week, and I think he's probably in his, I don't know, he's retired, sort of. Like, he had a whole business, sold it, it was successful. Now he's back working HR.
Mhm.
And he's like, people, when I meet with people in this role, they don't realize, like, I had a whole business that I sold and it was doing well.
Exactly.
And I want to work here now. And it is not a decrease or a minus from his success. As
Mhm.
he's deciding, okay, I just want an easier check right now.
Right,
Right.
and that I just want an easier check right now. Okay, how about that? You know, because grinding all this much to be an entrepreneur, like, it takes a long time to build something significant,
Hmm.
and that's what we're doing, and we are at a point in the business where we could do that, and I'm not leaving the full-time entrepreneur space empty-handed, and so that's the win in that, and, I know my value, and I don't
Yeah.
need to prove it to anybody.
And it's not over.
It ain't over.
It ain't over. But as we
Mhm.
close out,
Do
there's
we
this,
want a revolution? Woo, woo. I don't know
right?
why.
We do want a revolution. Um, but I'm huge on how we speak to ourselves and
Mhm,
how in our mindset. I mean, you all know that I'm a mindset coach, but I'm huge on that because I think if you train your mind to think a certain way, at first it feels awkward and then it will be automatic. And then you're not having such a down before you have a up because you're
mhm.
staying up with your thinking. And so there's this
Yes,
mantra that I want all of us to
that's so
practice,
good.
and so here it goes, or it's a prayer. It's what I call it. But it's a thing. It's a phrase you can say to yourself every day.
Mhm.
I release what no longer serves me, and I recommit to what sets me free.
I love that.
And I think every time you're making these hard decisions and you're having to restructure for the quarter, you can say, I release what no longer serves me and I recommit to what sets me free. And if you're making that your focus, it will give you freedom and peace no matter what evolution and what change you have to make. Right.
Mhm.
So outside of that, I think everyone's assignment, we're gonna start giving you all assignments. I think everyone should start journaling or vlogging and ask yourself at the end of every quarter, what surprised me about this quarter? What am I most proud of? And what do I want to do more of next quarter? So if you all could drop it in the chat, in the comments, Let us know your answers to that if you want to share, or just keep it to yourself. But we would love to hear yours. We can read them anonymously if you want on our next episode. But let's close out with things we wish we knew and how do we stand on business. Go ahead.
Okay. So, oh, well, since we didn't get to this part, I want to say this real quick about the essence writing.
Mm,
So the metric, so when we reset our goals, and to make sure that by the end of Q2, we've known if we've reached the goal, is setting a metric uh to to measure it up against. So for me, my metric is my essence writing. If it takes me 20 minutes to do that exercise, I want to get it down to 10 minutes by the end of Q2.
okay, that's good.
hmm Okay. So things I wish I knew. Standing on business is
Hmm.
what this topic, what this segment is. So stand on business. Freedom is never free. You have to sacrifice time to buy it.
That's real. That's real.
Yes.
That's real. Mine is I wish I knew that setting boundaries makes you better. And that they apply to everyone in your life, no exceptions. So I stand on business about my boundaries for
Period.
everybody, whether you're my
Period.
mama
Mm,
or my friend.
okay.
Boundaries for everybody.
Because she got to put her rocks first. Okay. You can't put all
Yes.
you little sands in there.
Yes. So the last little thing we want to leave you all with is our favorite part of this episode. And that's when you guys like and you subscribe right
And
now.
you share it because
And you
people
share.
need these gems. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Tag us, follow us, like us at Giggles and Goals on pretty
Mhm.
much all the social media platforms. So, yeah.
Yes. And if you want to do a deeper dive on planning for 2025, then watch this next video. Bye.
Bye, y'all.